So in Garry's mod, there's always been the default Half-Life 2 weapons. These are our treasured trove of weapons, the ones that most of you are going to experience, maybe even for the first time. I mean, if you've never played Half-Life 2, in which case, I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? Just kidding, some people just don't want to play Half-Life 2, but there's one weapon in Half-Life 2 that has always been such a great weapon, and that is the crossbow. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the absolute biggest upgrade the crossbow could have gotten. We have all of these new weapon types, and they all bring something interesting and unique to the table. Let's get started with the Crossbow Plus. Alright, so right off the bat, you're going to notice down there that that's going to tell you which crossbow bolts you have. We have the basic one, which is the one standard. The thing I really like about this, though, is you don't need to equip a different weapon. This is just the crossbow you spawn with. So it's been modified automatically. Now, obviously, we know what this does. It's a crossbow. But dig a little deeper and you're going to start finding some interesting things like the beacon. And already we're getting into some admin territory. There are a few admin only bolts because, well, they're extremely overpowered. This one summons a combine orbital strike. Don't know why you'd need that, but it's a pretty cool feature. Now, we are going to be going through these quick because there's a lot of them and I don't want to waste your guys' time. Next up, we have the explosive. This one does what you'd probably expect. It's a crossbow, but it now explodes on impact, which is fantastic for taking out multiple NPCs. The only problem is your bolter weight is going to increase, so keep an eye on the bolt we shoot. Look how quickly it drops. It almost acts like a grenade, and this is going to come, well, in handy or even be a detriment depending on who you are. But yes, as we all know, the Half-Life 2 bolts, they bounce. So if you shoot it, you know, directly beneath you, I mean, it's gonna blow up. But if you shoot it at an angle, it will bounce, and theoretically, you could do some trick shots. In fact, we did a whole mod on crossbow trick shots a while ago. I'll put that in the top right corner. The bottom line is, great explosive. We're just gonna get this over with. Here we have the nuke, and it is an admin only bolt for a good reason. I mean, do I even need to say anything? Let's just launch the damn thing. And yeah, I wouldn't quite say it's a G-bombs nuke. However, it is still a massive explosion that's going to wipe out pretty much anything in its path. Next up, we have buckshot, and this is going to really come in handy for those that love to have a spread weapon. And it's crazy because it doesn't even shoot a bolt out anymore. It just shoots buckshot. Now, it is a bit of a narrow choke. So, I mean, right there we killed two. Well, that was technically the ragdoll. You know what? I still count it. The choke is extremely narrow, so you're still going to hit multiple enemies at the same time. We did get two there, although the other two died from Odessa leaning into him. Bottom line is, great weapon, maybe better than the regular bolts, but I mean, we have a perfectly good shotgun right above it, so I don't know why you wouldn't just switch to this. The Ender Pearls. So if you guys have played Minecraft, you know how this works. Now you shoot out, well, a bolt. And when that bolt reaches a surface and firmly stays planted in that surface, you will teleport to said surface. Now, this can get pretty insane pretty quick. You can teleport across the map, but be wary that it does have to stop. So if you were to shoot a bolt like right here, wherever that bolt lands is where we are gonna go. And look at that, we're at the edge of the map. I could have guessed that. But once again, this is kind of just an amazing demonstration of how the physics in Source maintain, even through long distances. Like, you'd think, oh, I shoot it, you know, it disappears. Nope. The game is tracking the position and the velocity and everything of that projectile until it hits a surface. Now, you're going to notice, though, wait, how come we didn't teleport? Well, sadly, if the bolt goes out of the map, you're out of luck. But we have ways to alleviate that, and that is to just not hit the outside wall. But like this, we have now teleported back on the map. What if you want to get up there? Well, we're out of ammo, one sec. Alright, let's try that one more time. And you're gonna notice. Alright, I have no idea why that didn't work. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, it bounced! Okay, so right there, like, I thought that it landed. No, it bounced, and now I have no idea where the hell I am. Next up, we have the firework, and this one is one of my favorites. Go ahead and shoot up in the air, and it's going to blow up like a firework. I do recommend trying this on a dark map, although it might not light up appropriately. However, it does recommend not using it indoors for obvious reasons. You can also just shoot at the ground. It won't explode when it stops. There's a set time frame, and once that time has been hit, it explodes regardless. So that means, yes, it can blow up mid-air. Now, sadly, the bolt damage itself is going to be nil, which means the bolt itself is not going to do any damage. However, when it does explode, it's going to do a nice amount of fire damage, but not quite enough to really close the deal, unless you do it multiple times. Odessa, you better be careful, man. You're gonna get me canceled. The Flash. And no, we're not talking about the one from the DC universe. Sadly, this is going to be more of a flashbang style affair, and I mean, you can see it right there. Now, you're gonna notice our damage has been decreased by 75%. Not the best thing ever. And once again, you don't have to hit an enemy, you just have to hit a hard surface. You do have to be careful though, because if you're too close, you will flash yourself. A phrase I never thought I'd ever say in my entire life, but it is true, and it is debilitating to say the least. Also laggy as hell. Oh my god. Picture this. It's Friday night, you had some Taco Bell. This is going to be your crossbow bolt. We have the gas. All you have to do is simply shoot it out. It's going to release a pungent cloud that I assume is so potent, in fact, that it's just able to kill anything within seconds. But just to test that theory, I mean, look at this. The cloud's not even gone. I can keep spawning these Odessas in, and as long as the cloud remains, they'll die. Now, they took about half health, but hey, we can just do this again. Now, it is important to note that with a lot of these, or pretty much all of these, it's going to affect more than just the damage. Like, for instance, the weight. If we were to shoot this, just like the nuke, look how quickly it drops. So, if you want to be accurate with this, you're gonna have to find a different bolt. The ghost. This is a very simple one. It literally doesn't shoot anything. And if you listen carefully, you'll hear... I didn't even recognize this in testing. If you listen closely, you'll hear the echoes of a zombie. Definitely a nice touch, but also not the most useful, although you can make it look like you trick shot with nothing. The grapple. This is definitely going to be one of the, again, more interesting and quirky utility ones. Go ahead and shoot out a bolt, and it's going to shoot a grapple out that's going to pull you towards the surface. Now, it's important to note that there's not really much leeway. If you were to, like, go to here, I can't move left or right, really. You're pretty much going exactly where you pointed. Now, thankfully, if you want to quit, well... Oh, well, it still kills, so that's good to know. You can go ahead and press the E key, and you will cut the cord, and, well, just stop your momentum. Next up, we have the harpoon, and this is going to shoot out a staggering amount of puncture. Check this out. Pretty damn sweet. Now, okay, 3 of those were ragdolls, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. They're dead either way. Now, you are pretty much just shooting out a physics prop, so it's not that complicated, but that one was all the harpoon. It pierced through all 3 of those Odessas and did the job. Next up, we have the stim. So I'm at 35 health. You guys can't see it because it's off screen, but trust me, I'm weak. Now I can simply heal myself by shooting down on the ground. Now, it's important to understand that this is not going to do any damage anymore, although if you want to heal your comrade, you totally can. But I'm definitely not in the mood for healing, so we're going to go to the marker, which is going to mark the targets, although sadly Odessa is too weak and frail and pathetic to have this be effective. We're gonna pull up the antline guard, and you're gonna notice, not only is it going to tell you the NPC and obviously the location and how far it is, but the damage that you do within the next couple of seconds, specifically the next 15 seconds, you will start doing 30% more damage. So not only is it good for tracking a target, but it's really good at taking out an incredibly difficult target like the antline guard. I mean, just a few rockets and that was really all that it took. Now, it's important to note that the bolter damage itself has gone down by 50%, so if you want to kill things like the antline guard with just the bolts, you're going to want to look somewhere else. Next up, we have poison, and it's going to kind of act like a dart. You shoot it, doesn't do anything, but gradually his health will start to deteriorate, so good for single targets, Not quite as good for multiple targets, but you know what? We have tons of other bolts for that, so it doesn't really matter. Next up, we have the rock. Now, if you use this effectively, it can be a great way to knock someone in the noggin. But unfortunately, for the most part, it's just going to be a prop that may or may not kill more than one NPC at a time, and I imagine that the damage gradually tapers off the further you get. Yeah, hey! Trick shots with a rock? I don't know, that might have to be the next video. Next up, we have shield. This is a really cool one. So, when you hit a target, they are going to be invincible for a short duration. As you can see, that was not very short. Now, one of the best things about this bolt is that if you were to hit a player with it, you would also regen armor. Sadly, we cannot hit ourselves with it unless we, like, did some crazy trick shot thing, which I'm not going to try to do. But you know, hitting NPCs is still pretty cool if you have an ally that you don't want to die for 5 seconds. This is definitely going to be the bolt for you. Next up, we have shrapnel. Now, this is not going to do any damage with the bolt itself, but when it does hit a hard surface, like Odessa's big fat head, you're gonna notice that shoots out shrapnel in every which way, and that is what's doing all the damage. The bolt itself is doing nothing. It's all the shrapnel. So if you did want to strategically put this down, you know, you could put it like between multiple NPCs and try to take them out, although for some reason that's not really as effective. Alright, so it's not the best. You can also hurt yourself with it because the shrapnel can definitely hit you. At least, I assume it can. Next up, we have the sniper, and this is going to completely remove the drop from the crossbow. If you ever wanted a perfect hit scan crossbow, well, now you have it. And it even looks like the sniper from Half-Life 2. And by the way, when I say you can hit from pretty much any distance, I really do mean it. Here we have Odessa perfectly on the head, and headshot. No drop whatsoever. Next up, we have the Tesla, and this is going to lower the, well, velocity. So you're going to notice that the bolt is just slower. It kind of flies through the air at a slower speed, but the best thing about it is it's going to shock nearby enemies, and this is a great way to take out a lot of enemies in a short amount of time. And now we get into the God Mode one. This is another admin-only bolt, and well, it theoretically destroys anything. For instance, even this seemingly invincible NPC whose name I can't really remember. Bottom line is, we can easily go ahead and shock him, and well, he's dead. And we've tested that NPC before. Dude cannot die from anything, but he just did. Now, sadly, there are limits to this, like Minge God doesn't work, and if we were to, for some weird reason, try any of the SCPs, it also won't really work. I've tested each of those, but I'm not going to put them in the video to pad it out anymore. Bottom line is, it's a pretty okay gun. It can get rid of a lot of NPCs, but it's not like the Dev Plat Revolver or the QTG admin gun or anything like that. Next up, we have Thermite, and this is going to be great for surfaces. So if you have like a metal wall you want to destroy, which I can't find any destructible prop that is durable enough for this. Bottom line is, it sets the object on fire and does 5 times damage to non-creature things. Now, of course, just me saying that, don't be dismayed about using it on an NPC. Go ahead and do it. It's gonna be pretty damn good, although it's not going to be as effective as it could be. And last up, but certainly not least, we have the Thumper, and this is going to act like the Thumper from Half-Life 2, but it's pretty much just going to knock things away from, well, wherever you shoot at. And it still kills. I mean, it's not doing like horrible damage, but it's not really the most effective. However, I'll tell you what, it is definitely good at pushing props. Or not. Alright, this is starting to hurt my brain. Bottom line is, that was all of the different bolter types. Definitely some really cool and interesting and quirky ones, and certainly some that are more useful than others. But guys, I'd love to know your thoughts down below. What do you think about the ultimate crossbow upgrade? If you guys want to leave a like or subscribe, you totally can. Links will be in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. And until next time, farewell.